Sagittarius Ascendant folks. My name is Avi Katyal. The title of this video, I have to say, I started to do these videos on the August 11th new moon partial solar eclipse, and I have to say that for you guys, it's a slightly more holistic look. It's both about this particular new moon, but also where the eclipses are heading, and there's a certain amount of focus on 2019, 2020. So the title is a little misleading, and since this channel is new, I'm learning a lot about what kind of ascendant specific videos I want to do. So bear with me. But but for Sagittarius ascendants, the energy for some of you, the energy has been positive insofar as it might have been stabilizing from a career perspective since 2015, 2016. But for many of you, it's actually kind of right the opposite. There's a destabilizing as well. It depends on how it is that the energies are manifesting and where you're at and how true you're being to whatever it is that you want to do and where it is that the universe is trying to take you and lean you towards. Plus, there are some complicated and disturbing energies, or complicated and complicated energies that are going to require you to work hard to manifest and stabilize yourself financially, manifest income, stabilize financially over the next 2.5 years that really need to be taken seriously. Let's break this down. First and foremost, one of the questions I would have is 2015, 2016, particularly for the first 3 quarters of 2016, late 2014, 2015, most of 2016. One of the questions would be what was happening for you from a career perspective. It could be that there were things that were brought forth that had the opportunity to stabilize you from a career perspective or push you in the limelight in some way. And the energies after that, from December 2016, and this will continue till January the 21st of 2019 to some extent, but we're at the tail end of these energies, have a lot to do with your sense of your vision and your goals for yourself, broadly speaking. So when it comes to the eclipses, they kind of go in the opposite way. You would think that first a transit would happen so that your goals and your vision and your sense of self and your sense of truth would be defined, and then you could hone down into your career. But with the eclipses, it tends to happen, it happens the opposite way. The eclipses happen in your house of career. Eclipses to lean into happened house of career, late 2014, 2015, majority of 2016. And then December of 2016, they moved into the part of the chart that has to do with reconnecting you or connecting you to your sense of truth, your sense of why you're here, your sense of purpose to some extent. Same part of the chart that has to do with the growth in spirituality and higher consciousness, foreign travel or long distance travel. Allied to all this work that was going on in your career, it's possible that you had to leave home or leave a certain domesticity or say goodbye to certain real estate. And I'm talking about 2015, 2016 again, to late 2014 to much of 2016, where you may have had to, some of you may have had to move for work, or some of you may have had to release something having to do with your home and domestic life and real estate and motherland and even the mother to some extent, and focus more in terms of career and career opportunities. But then after that, strangely, since December of 2016, I told you this was a complex summary I'm giving you guys, because it's not so simple to just kind of talk about the August 11th solar eclipse for you guys. It really is not. And then the energy shifted to a part of the chart where anything that expands your sense of self and purpose needs to be taken somewhat seriously. Who am I? What am I here to do? What are my goals? Did whatever I took on from a career perspective that brought me a certain amount of stability, fame, notoriety, late 2014, 15, 16, did it stabilize me, or did the universe drop me after that? If it dropped you, it's not meant to be, it's as if that opportunity was meant to put you in a certain direction that then afterwards would lead you to question who you really are within whatever field or work that you're doing, or something new to consider. Were you moved out of whatever it is that you considered home initially for a career perspective, but then after that in such a way that it's made you reconsider or rethink your goals? Have you indulged in more sort of spiritual activities that somehow connect you to your sense of yourself? At the same time, since December of 2016, but particularly since June of 2017, you may have needed to release certain things related to interaction with colleagues and communication and skills and writing and speaking. It's a mysterious part of the chart where you have to release something. Sometimes releasing something actually means that you're releasing a certain type of work. Siblings, cousins, neighbors, neighborhoods, cars and vehicles and commuting. It's as if by trying to connect to your higher or bigger sense of self, certain mundane things have needed to be released. Now, if you're working in some sort of a communication profession like writing or speaking, it could be that what you have to release is a certain amount of self-esteem issues related to better work or things that are blocking you from being more effective. Or have you been encouraged to release something? The eclipses of release are kind of fascinating, and there'll be a separate video about that, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. The thing I'm going to say is that the August 11th eclipse that just happened in the sign of Leo happened one final time in the part of your chart that has to do with your sense of self and your sense of truth and your sense of vision and goals for yourself. And from August the 11th, sorry about, there's someone driving who is insisting on listening and playing to music as he is parking, I can see, even though it's down below a couple of stories. God bless him. There's a feeling that the entire neighborhood needs to be part of the celebrations or enjoyment that is going on in his vehicle. Let me keep going, and this will end in a second. But August 11th is a new moon solar eclipse, and January 21st of 2019 is a full moon lunar eclipse. The other dates that are important are October 11th and November 21st. So I would say it's a 6-month period, the last 6-month period that is trying to align you and trying to put you in touch with your goals and your sense of purpose and sense of self. Okay? The reason why this is important is that the eclipses in 2019 and 2020, but some of these energies have been in play. Wow! This guy is just on it. I'm so sorry. I can't, because I'm doing this live, I can't control it. I hope you're not disturbed too much the way I am as I'm listening to his music or being forced to listen to it. The reason why this is important is that the energies, he stopped, he parked, he's getting out of his car, one assumes. Glory be. The reason why this is important is since December the 20th of 2017, the planet Saturn moved into the part of your chart that has to do with money that is in your name, your income, your resources, money that you bring in using your gifts, your talents, your skills, and your strengths. We're not talking about money that is coming in through partnerships. We're talking about money that is coming through your addressing any issues that you may have around self-esteem and self-worth, money that you bring in based on your work. And as you redefine and reassess your goals for one final time now, I can't help but think that there's a connection between this reassessment and where you're going to be spending a lot of time for the next 2.5 years stabilizing yourself financially. Now, the eclipses, the second half of the year has this handoff in eclipses. It's the final set of eclipses that has to do with your goals and your sense of truth and higher consciousness and connecting with God and foreign travel and long distance travel and being moved away from blah, blah, blah. And with the eclipses, as far as income is concerned, you have a planetary influence that is transforming things there for you and has been doing so since 2008 anyway. Now you have Saturn here that is going to require you to put your nose to the grindstone and do the hard work and get rid of beliefs and patterns and behaviors that block you from manifesting abundance. Again, these are based on your gifts, your talents, what you have to offer the world. And you have eclipses of release that are going to start here in January of 2019, which, in my opinion, any blocks with regard to your own sense of self-worth and self-esteem, any blocks that you may have related to your being able to manifest abundance will need to be contended with in 2019, 2020. And especially when we look ahead to 2020, financial new beginnings are in order. Now, we did have an eclipse on July the 12th as well, the first of the new sets of energies that are going to be in play for the rest of this year, but especially in 2019, 2020. As you focus on And for here, I'm really looking ahead to 2019, 2020. As you focus on stabilizing yourself financially and doing the hard work, putting the nose to the grindstone, dealing with your self-esteem issues, dealing with what your gifts are, and having a sense of confidence and putting the work into building strong financial foundations. That's the phrase I was looking for. At the same time, some of you may need to lean into or deal with issues that have to do with shared resources. Some of these items are already active. We had the last of the goals, vision, sense of truth, God, spirituality, long distance travel, higher consciousness eclipses, August 11th to June 21st. August 11th of this year to June 21st next year, right? I gave you the October 11th dates and the November 21st dates as interesting markers. What happens around those dates, what happens by those dates. And from November the 21st, what happens starting that date as you head towards January the 21st. We also had the first of the eclipses that will be affecting us for the next year and a half to 2 years in the sign of Cancer on July the 12th. And these energies will really make their presence felt from July the 12th till about September the 12th. And the questions here are, as you stabilize yourself financially, are you going to be depending on other people's resources or shared resources, alimony, credit, loans, inheritance, family money, to support you in such a way that as you stabilize yourself financially, you have something to lean into? Number two, are you going to be dealing with intimacy issues, monies owed in partnerships? Some of it is receiving money while you do the hard work to stabilize yourself financially over the next 2.5 years. Some of you may need to lean into shared resources, unemployment, severance, stocks, shares, family money, alimony, all that kind of stuff. Some of you may have to deal with settling things from a partnership perspective. Divorces, separations, contemplating marriage, coming together with people, even to some extent. Leaning into shared resources as you stabilize yourself financially. The one thing about financial stabilization is be careful of partnerships. If you have a tendency to go directly into partnerships because that's the way you like to work, I would really encourage you to think about what are your gifts? What are your skills? And is it time to lean into those to manifest your own income? But at the same time, there's something really mysterious here about this balance between shared resources and you stabilizing yourself financially. So whatever it is that you either have to lean into from a shared resources perspective, some of these energies are already active. Are you having to depend on other people financially, or joint funds financially, or money coming in from investments, money coming in from partnerships in some way to help you right now? Are you having to deal with settling things with other people? Are you involved in conversations with other people about joining forces with them? Are you involved in conversations with other people about separating from them? Financially, personally, professionally. All of this is in the mix as you look ahead to 2020. This is why I said that it's kind of misleading for me to say that this is a video just about the August 11th solar eclipse. But I'm going to bring it back to the August 11th solar eclipse now to say this. As you contend with your financial life till 2020, you have a 6-month period now from August the 11th of this year till January the 21st of next year to really lean into and think about your goals, your sense of self, your sense of vision, your sense of truth, your integrity. Do not be slick during this time. The 9th house is unforgiving if you are not truly contemplating your truth. There are 2 truths there. If I could just say the word true now from now till the end of this video recording, I would. What is your, Integrity, integrity, integrity. Integrity with yourself, integrity with your sense of purpose, integrity with why you're here. Leaning into, it's one of the two God houses. You cannot mess around with integrity here. No slickness, no smooth talking. Even when it comes to you identifying your goals and why you think you're here, have the courage, at least to yourself, to take the dart and hit the bullseye. I live in Los Angeles. You know, I work with many actors will be like, oh, I want to be an actor, but I'm going to go direct to play. I'm going to be an actor, but I want to write the script. And some of it makes sense because it's heading towards that. But sometimes some of it is resistance. Some of it is deflection. Some of it is, I really want this, but because I'm so scared this may not happen, I'm going to dance around it. No. You have 6 months to identify that bullseye, because identifying that bullseye will provide the foundation for you to know what you have to do financially, what foundations you need to set up, what your gifts are, what you're here to lean into and contribute to the world and therefore manifest a certain amount of abundance. And when it comes to the shared resources part of things, it will give you the litmus test. It will give you the touchstone to determine, sorry about the video quality, there's a server change that happens sometimes when I'm doing my videos and I'm investigating it. It's annoying as all hell. And for some of you, it's going to give you the litmus test around if you're going to partner with someone, if you're going to come together with someone professionally and personally. Are they the right people? Are they in line with your goals? And if you're going to separate from people, are those separations being motivated out of alignment with your goals? And for some of you, as I've said, you may lean into shared resources as you stabilize yourself financially over the next 2.5 years. But the big question right now, from August the 11th of this year till January the 21st of next year, in the middle of all this, is to reconnect with who you are at the truest level. And there is no room for mischief through that process. Okay. I wish you the best, and I will be back in touch. Thanks.